Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shraddha is paramount as an important theme at the beginning of this particular Upanishad, and the story is used to illustrate what is perhaps the only thing that comes between oneself and the teachings. This is what the Shraddha, this is what it is. Really, this is all it is, And so, this Shraddha is to be cultivated, and how to cultivate it is also given here in the Upanishad. Through service or dhanam, seva dhanam. And the ritual, of course, here is just a illustration, is just a context. But what is highlighted is the dana, the giving. And the giving is not just, buy one, get one free. That kind of giving. This is the Western giving, Yeah, take it on your way out, And this is not what is talked about here. And the giving is also not because you have something extra, or you feel like I'm the giver and I have so much and let them take if they want because they need to, because it's based on their need. So whoever needs is lower, and I feel higher because I'm in the place to bestow. But this bestowal is actually a reversal here, because their accepting your gift is what makes you eligible if you take the story literally, for heaven, or if you take it metaphorically, for moksha. So really speaking, the giver has to be in right relationship with oneself. Here, this is what is so beautifully illustrated. The giver has to be in right relationship. And the giver, and usually what we think from the modern way, the Western way, is to think that if you are in a place of service, there is a mistake made between servitude and service. Yeah. Service is seva. That's not servitude. That's not servitude. Seva is for your own growth, really. If you take it as a something that gives Shraddha, seva is for your own growth. Correct? So for that purpose, you either do service or you give things or whatever it is, for your own growth of what? We already saw, Shraddha. And other aspects of emotional growth. So in the giving itself, in the art of giving, prayerfully, reverentially, and with care, therein lies the growth. And part of the instruction given here of how to give prayerfully, reverentially, devotionally, and with care is to make the receiver more important than oneself. You make the receiver feel more important, because indeed they are more important, because they can get it from anywhere. I mean, even that should be the same idea even if you go serve in a soup place, soup kitchen. That's where you can't sort of say, these are all homeless people and I am helping them out. You're not helping them out. They'll get their food. They get their food from Bhagavan. If not you, somebody else will come and feed them. Or somehow Bhagavan will supply. So today I have this opportunity and the blessing is mine. That feeling when you have, that is the precursor of Shraddha. And in giving reverentially, prayerfully, whatever you are able to offer, with your being, actually it makes you bigger, not smaller. It definitely makes you bigger than who you are. That's how one becomes big. Not big by throwing the weight around, that's easy to do. This is a different kind of bigness. Yeah. This is a learned bigness. It's a different kind of bigness. It's where the ego is made small. You compress the ego to bring out your own largesse. It's beautiful. And so, of course, Vajashrava had a lot of opportunities to can his ego because if you're giving everything you own, and there goes the mahogany chest, or there goes the dining table made of solid teak. Oh, there goes the rosewood sofa, But even when perhaps he was thinking of that, he was still saying, but I have to do this with total Shraddha because I want heaven. That was the Shraddha connection. So then he had this boy as this giving was going on. And it went on for days, as I told you. Everybody was honored because it takes a long time, and especially if you are like Vajashrava, he was probably quite wealthy. And so he had a lot of things. People who do this yajna have something to give. You can't just have one begging bowl and say, I'm going to do Vishwajit. That's not, and I have given that away. No. This is not for people. This is not a ritual for people who are liabilities on society. No. You cannot also give away something that doesn't belong to you. So first you should have that sense of belonging. You should go to the furniture store, pick it out, bring it home, enjoy it and feel like I cannot live without it. And that's the time to do Vishwajit. That's the time to say, okay, out with everything. Off with everything, out with everything. And this is what the whole situation is. And this is the secret to growing big within oneself. Is put some attention to your giving. Whatever it is that you are giving and who you are giving to, put some attention. And that's where the Shraddha grows for this knowledge. And then here it is also said that this child, we have to read between the lines because the Upanishad is a lady of few words. Yeah. So since it went on for days, and since this child was small, 8 years, 9 years, maybe 10 max, and it went on day and night, he would probably fall asleep in his father's lap, in his mother's lap, or on some relative's shoulder, sleeping. Suddenly waking up, participating as best as he could, and then sleeping off a little more. And then, what's happening now? Oh, that's also gone. Oh, not my favorite toy. Oh, anyway, never mind. Go back to sleep. So this is what was going on. So in between these stupors, this is all extrapolation because we will see the Upanishad is so threadbare that you have to put a lot of filling. Yeah. This gives the crust, the skeleton. This is the apple pie filling. Yeah. So in one of these naps, small or extended nap, he saw that the giving had reached an extreme climax. And what was the climax? All these sad, bad, mad cows were being led out. Led out literally because they had no way of leading themselves out. They were so compromised. And they were just so in such bad shape. One was walking on bovine crutches. Yeah. It was having a pair of cow crutches. The other one had cow hip replacement surgery. And the third one, because of some stomach trouble, had one of the stomachs taken out. Because it had 3 others still, it was okay. And the fourth one had severe emotional problems because of old age and not knowing, dementia. And these were the kinds of cows, full of all kinds of problems, old, tired, decrepit, and the other one had dentures kept on falling out. Yeah, well, somebody had to fix it and it would say, oh, thank you. And then it would fall out again. These were the kinds of cows. And little boy Nachiketa saw and fell into this, this thought, because again he had a lot of Shraddha. He was sleeping in between because he was small, and he would go off and play because he was not part of the ritual. He was not, he was not expected to be there all the time. Nobody expects children to have that much attention span. So maybe he would go play, he would nap, he would come back, and then he would see what all is going on. And perhaps he had asked his parents, what are we doing this for? To go to heaven. Oh, good. And then but the Shraddha was there in him so much that he thought that this cow with crutches, along with the crutches, is being offered to, to this Brahmana, to a recipient. And the cow, with all these memory problems, is being offered to another recipient. And these are not good cows. I mean, mother has a lot of better cows. Where did they all go? What happened to them? Why are these cows being offered? In fact, these cows should just be kept in the, old age home for cows in our backyard. They should not be, they should not be marched through the ritual and ceremoniously you put a red chadar. Chadar is like a cloth. You put a red chadar on them and you do arati to them and offer them. They are going like this during the arati and the gift giving ritual where you pour the water. Yeah, one of them almost collapsed, And this is what the whole situation is. And he said this is a serious situation. He thought to himself that, this is only going to bring trouble. Because all the devatas are sitting there thinking, this is not the way of giving. You have to give the best things. You shouldn't give all the dead things. The cow is practically dead. Yeah. It's already dead, We'll be lucky, we'll say, phew, if it makes through the courtyard and out of the compound. Thank God. After that, let it do whatever it wants to do. Yeah. Why is the cow not yet dead? Because Lord Yama is yet to come into the picture. That's why it's still barely alive. So these barely there cows, and they are just going. And he just is shocked. And he falls deep in thought, and the thoughts come from this place of Shraddha in the ritual. And Shraddha that the ritual is going to translate into heaven for his father. He doesn't know what heaven is, he doesn't know what the ritual is all about, nothing. But that Shraddha is there, and he thinks to himself, this is not a good thing to give these kinds of barely there cows. And the devatas will be watching. And the Brahmana, if the Brahmana has to drag a dead cow home, the Brahmana, the one who receives the gift, is also not happy. And if the person who receives the gift is not happy, the gift is, completely vitiated by their bad feelings, expressed or unexpressed. And even if they don't have bad feelings, the gift is vitiated because of the way of giving. So here, it's not the way of giving that was in question, but the content of the gift that was in question. And he thought to himself, this is not okay. Then he slowly went to the cow shed to find out where is father hiding all the good cows. He said the good cows must be somewhere because these bad ones are being trotted out. So where are the good ones? And he looked everywhere, he couldn't find the good ones. For the simple reasons, we start giving with the good ones. Just like even in Raghu's ritual, in Raghuvamsha, the golden ware was given, the silver ware, the platinum ware, the lead ware, and then copper ware, and then finally, in order of the expense, the dearness of the metal, that is how it was given. What was valued first is given, and then these cows were, of course, saved for the last. But he didn't know that. He said, where did they all go? Did they run away? Are they in the pasture? Did father hide them somewhere? Or what happened? He couldn't understand. So then he thought, as he was coming in, I am a better dakshina. Dakshina means that which is given as service, as part of the ritual, the gift. I would constitute a much better gift than these horrible, cows who are on their last legs, who are yet to just barely 2 minutes away from breathing their last. Their breath has started on a countdown. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. This is what in stages they are in. And he said, this is not good news father can kiss his Brahmaloka goodbye. Yeah, he can just wave to it. He's not going to, what heaven is he going to, giving such dirty cows? And I'm a much, look at me. He passes the reflecting surface, and there were mirrors in Vedic times by shining copper and all these certain metals, silver and all that. And he says, look at me, I'm cute, I'm strong, I'm intelligent, and I have good buddhi. And actually, my father doesn't know this, but if I'm used in a correct way, I can bring him heaven better than these cows. And the papa of giving these cows, the aforementioned, which was just described, Ukta Lakshanam, cows, by giving these cows, can be erased by this punya of giving me away. He says, what a bright idea. Shabash Nachiketa, pat yourself on the back. You are not only cute, but you are brainy. Yes. You may become the CEO of some big company. Yeah, you really have what it takes. And he says that to himself. I think I have what it takes. I am. Actually, in the schooling situation, if you look at intellect, I rank among the first. My GPA is never below 4. I'm very good. I'm excellent, in fact. I'm a great candidate. In fact, there is nothing wrong with me. Nothing wrong with me at all. Look. Cute, intelligent, a growing boy, which means already I have so much strength. I'm going to have more as I grow. And then I'm an excellent candidate for Dakshina, to be considered as Dakshina, because in lieu of those cows, because all the up till now the ritual was going well, those cows really, they cast a damper on the whole thing. And I can undo that. All father has to do is to tell me who he's giving me to, because then that was the next thought. Oh, maybe I am also saved for the last. Unlike the cows, the best is saved for the last. I am the best, these cows are not. Maybe I should go find out how. He says, I rank either the first, sometimes I come second, okay. But never the third, never the last. And I should find out from father who I'm going to be given to. Because there was a whole list on the, on a hastily drawn up palm leaf of what the Dakshina was and who it was going to, who it had been promised to. And he looked and he didn't find himself. And he looked through all the quote-unquote pages or the leaves of this, hastily strung together, and it was just lying there. I can't say on the dining table because that had been given away. And so it was lying there somewhere on the counter, and he looked to see if he was featured anywhere among the list of prized articles to be given away. And he said, what? I'm not here. Better go find out what is happening. And the father was in the process of pouring the water where you should not have any distractions. You should be totally concentrated and say the mantra that I give you this is a sealed deal, I will not ask for it back, please enjoy it, and I wish I could give more. And he has to say all these things and he has to mean them, correct? And in between, this fellow is tugging at the dhoti. Yeah. Tata, Dad, Daddy, not now, and he keeps on going and pouring. Yeah. Father, what? Can't you just go play by yourself? Go play, go sleep, go play with some other neighborhood children. No, Father, what? Who are you going to give me to? And the father doesn't respond because it's a moot question. Children are not part of this sacrifice. They are not to be given away. Children are not considered possessions. Who are you going to give me to? And father doesn't respond. because he's busy, and he says, okay, first he got the attention by claiming it was very important, and when the question came, he knew it wasn't important. This is just a child's fantasy, or perhaps a fear, we don't know. But he's not going to address it while he's engaged in the act of pouring the water and chanting the mantras and making sure that he's reserving his seat in heaven was more important than attending to the worries of this little child. And so Nachiketa is very perseverant, as we are going to discover through this text. If one thing that describes him, it is Shraddha and perseverance. In fact, perseverance before Shraddha. The perseverant one acquires Shraddha. And these are all keys of how one has to be to gain this knowledge. The perseverance. We're not going even after you have been dismissed. That is the thing. And so here he doesn't go away. The father dismisses him. And then Dvihi, Trihi, 2 times, 3 times, he says, Kasmai Mam Dasyasi, Kasmai Mam Dasyasi, Kasmai Mam Dasyasi, Kasmai Mam Dasyasi, Kasmai Mam Dasyasi. Who you are going to give me to? Who you are going to give me to? Who you are going to give me to? And the father says, you know what? I have reserved you for the Lord of Death. Go to hell. Such words uttered, that too in a situation where everything is so full of Shraddha, full of what? Gifts being given. And in fact, it's a ritual all about giving. And this is the Indian version of saying, go to hell. I give you unto Lord Yama. I'm going to give you to death. Mritya Vedvam dadami. I give you unto Lord Death. And Yama says, ooh, really? Yama is nowhere there. Yama doesn't even know this happened. Because Yama is busy. He's always on tour. Yeah. Because that's what his job requires, a lot of travel through many lokas. Yeah. Lot of travel. Poor thing, Yeah. And so Yama is not there anywhere near. Despite the age of the cows, he kept away. And but Nachiketa says that, all right, I'm packing my bags, I'm going. And of course we have to give the story a big, wide berth, in the sense, latitude, in the sense that in those days, terrestrial and extraterrestrial travel was possible, and you could go to the so-called abode of Lord Death without actually dying, and that your own sankalpa, the intention could take you there. You have to give the story a wide berth, because that's why it's called Akhyayika, a little story. Nobody says in the Upanishad that this is exactly how it happened a few 100,000 years ago. We are not claiming that. We are saying this is fiction. We are upfront about it. So if it is fiction, you use the science part of the fiction and know that there is ways of traveling, like all these things, Star Wars and other sci-fi stories. So here he, with the power of his intention, he arrived at the gates. Yama lives in a gated community, yeah. Can only go out. So he arrived at the gates of Lord Yama and rang the bell. And as he was ringing the bell, the father was wringing his hands in total lamentation. Paridevana means lamentation. It's a word that you will find in the Bhashya. And even I think in the Bhashya, I think it is there. So Paridevana, and so this Paridevana is there, lamentation on part of the father. And before this, the father and the son have a conversation. The father says, but I did not mean it. You are so dear to me. This is also not what the Upanishad tells. That's why I'm filling in the blanks. But I did not mean it. I really was, busy doing something, and you won't listen. You kept butting yourself in the middle of this. and I told you I'll come back later and we'll talk about it later. You didn't listen, and so out of anger this was said. Surely you don't have to go through this. And Nachiketa's Shraddha is so much that he says, in this time of giving, if he has given me, even the words have come, I have given you. I have to honor his word, because otherwise he will not go to heaven. I have to honor the father's word. Interestingly, it brings in Ramayana here. So, where also Rama goes off on an exile for 14 years to honor the father's word. Father didn't tell him to go on to exile. Father had given a free gift to the mother, the stepmother. The stepmother, as a way of stepping on his toes, told, reclaimed the rain check in the form of the gift. That is why it is. And he also went away because he didn't want to, even though the father said, don't go, I take back the gift. Once it's given, it's not taken back. Words are like arrows. Once you say them, there is no taking back. Oh, but I didn't mean it, I'm sorry, I changed my mind, will only go so far. Once the words are done, it's done. And in the Hindu tradition, this is if there is one thing that distinguishes the tradition, it is Vak Tapas. Ahimsa and Vak Tapas, these are the two primary things. Vak Tapas means not staying quiet all the time. Being mindful of how much, when, what to say and what not to say. This is Vak Tapas. So once you have said something, you have to go through with it. I'll give you my entire fortune. I changed my mind. No, you have to go through with it. So the child convinces the father that going to Yama is the right thing to do, because they belong to that, proud and totally upright culture of dharma for centuries. Nobody in their family has gone against the given word. So too, he will also not go against the father's given word. So as the father is wringing his hands in lament, Yama is ringing the doorbell. Not Yama. Nachiketa is ringing Yama's doorbell. And there what happens? I told you he was not in town. Yeah. Mrs. Yama, what's her name? Yummy. Yummy doesn't want to give the code of the door to anyone, She's been trained properly. Who is it? She says, well, I have come to see Lord Yama. Okay, now she has to let him in, so she lets him into the compound. And then she sees that it's a student of the Veda. And the student of the Veda is seen as very, very sacred, because the child is studying, and it's a wonderful thing. And the child, when it shows up at your doorstep, it is usually for a meal, and that is granted. And of course, the person feeding this child doesn't say, oh, I've seen so many students go, here's a buffet, go take what you want. No, the giving is again very ceremonial giving of hospitality and food. So you wash the feet of this child that has come to beg at your door, you give it a nice place to sit, you give it a new set of clothes, you give the food, and then you give water to wash hands and water to drink, and then send them off with a gift. This is the whole ritual. Even bhiksha is given. Bhiksha means this is bhiksha. This is how it is given, with total reverence. There is no, what's the word for it? There is no place for haphazard or carelessness in giving. And in the culture, and this is reiterated by Yami. Yami is distress. She's very distressed because he refuses to set foot in the house. He says, with due respect, I didn't come to see you. You may be a fine lady, and thank you very much for offering me orange juice, and I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to drink or eat, because I was given to serve Lord. She thought I was going to be serving Lord Yama. I was given to Lord Yama to serve him. But he won't be back for 3 days. I'll wait. And right there by the fountains, in the garden, there was some nice stone benches made for the person to relax, for Yama and Yami to sit and gaze at the fountains. And so right there in the garden with the lawns and the fruit trees and the fountains. Some magic is needed to grow things in the abode of death, but it's possible. They had good gardeners, I suppose. So nice, they had marble statues, looked like an Italian garden. And right there, he fell asleep. And the next day he woke up, he was just sitting there the whole day. At night, he fell asleep. And the next day he woke up, he sat there the whole day. And, and by this time, Yami was pulling her hair out in clumps. She was so distressed. She said, oh, this boy is going to be the end of us. This boy is going to be the death of us. What is this boy doing to us? He's not letting us give. She was so distressed because she couldn't give. Yeah. And she couldn't do the rituals of hospitality that one does for a guest. Usually people are distressed because they are caught because they have to give. Here she is distressed because she cannot give. Her Shraddha is also there. And then finally Lord Yama shows up, and as is his habit, he comes from the back door. Yeah, garage door. Yeah. Yeah, he puts his bull cart. Bull is his mascot. Yeah, so he puts his bull chariot in the garage and feeds some hay to the long-suffering bull, and then, hangs up his coat of arms and then comes into the house through the side door or the back door. He has missed Nachiketa, and he is really shocked to see the generally well-kept Yami in a state of disheveled. She is all disheveled, and there are circles under her eyes, like grocery bags under her eyes. And then she looks like she hasn't slept. Her eyes are all red and upset. And she's peeking behind the window, just between the curtains. She's going on looking like this. And he said, what happens? What happened over here? What catastrophe took place in my absence, oh Yami? What went on? What happened? It doesn't look like you have eaten. You've lost weight. Doesn't look like you have, done your makeup either. Your hair is all in disarray. And doesn't look like you've done anything other than look through the blinds or the curtains and then pace back and forth and then look through the blind again. And she said, come here. Look at what I'm looking. What? I just see a lovely Italian garden just for you. Got it all from the finest, Italians. When it came in the news that some set of people had to suddenly die, these were the people. And they did some, for their karmic things, they did all this. Look at all these gardens. Yeah, but who is sitting on the bench? Who? Where? Oh, that's a boy. Yes, but what is he doing there? That's my question too. What is he doing there? And then she says, shut up and get the water to wash his feet. He's been there for 3 days and 3 nights without, tormenting me here within the house without taking a morsel. Vaivasvata, they were on first name basis, so she can call him Vaivasvata. Hara Vaivasvata Udakam, bring the water to wash his feet quickly. And Yama does as he's dispatched. And then what happens? Then Nachiketa finally agrees to come in and agrees for the hospitality. Is very pleased to see Lord Yama because by this time he was very hungry. And Yami gets her wish fulfilled of feeding him and attending to him. But Yami feels that's not enough. For every day and every night that he spent without being attended to, he deserves something, some gift. And Yama says, don't worry, I'll take care of it. Look at it. He's a little bigger than a Indian chili pepper. That's his size. Small fellow, what can he want? Offer him some Lego sets and some video games, and for three days he lived without being attended to. Okay, 3 boons we'll give him. Make short shrift of him, send him back to his father, because Yama also is a very practical person. Quickly goes to the study, checks his file and oh, he has many years to live, so no need to keep him here. And so goes to the computer, checks his file, and knows that he has many years to live. And so he says, okay, no point in keeping him here. So we'll just give him 3-4 boons and just send him off. No problem. He tells to Yami, I've got this one. This one's in the basket. Don't worry. I'm going to go. And Yama is ready to face the shock of his life. Because the boons, are not ordinary boons. The boons, span the gamut of human desires. And that's not a surprise for the here and the hereafter. But the boon also, the final boon, spans spans the hereafter by demanding to know right here and now what is this mystery of birth and death, and why are people repeatedly born, and what should I do to not have this repeated samsaric experience. What is the truth of this I? Do I exist after this body or do I not? And if I exist, what is its nature? And why does it take on bodies again? And for an 8-year-old, this is a mind-boggling thing to ask. And Yama tries to fob him off with lot of things, including a BMW, convertible, with a celestial chauffeur and musicians, a limo, and everything he offers. Nothing. The boy is refusing to budge. So this becomes the context of the Brahma Vidya, the knowledge. So it shows the perseverance, that he is not ready to go away when little gifts are thrown his way. He knows what he wants and he refuses to be distracted. Refuses. And this becomes the context of the story. There are many gems that can be gleaned. But now we'll do that as we go, as we go along with the text. Ushan means from Vasha. Vasha means to want. So Ushan is the present participle of Vasha, means desiring. So that is the present participle, desiring, wanting. Wanting what? Again we have to fill in the blanks. Wanting what? Quickly. What does he want? Yeah, Swarga, wanting Brahmaloka. Ushan, Havai. Ha and Vai are indeclinable particles which are just put there to show the long term, like once upon a time, like nature of the story. That this did not happen yesterday, it happened a long time ago. So to give it like a characteristic of a story, Ha and Vai are dropped in there, like a seasoning. And then who was Ushaning? Vajashravasaha was Ushaning. So who was desiring? This person by the name of Vajashrava was desiring. And desiring what? Heaven or Brahmaloka, Sarva Vedasam. Vedasam is wealth. All the possessions here, by extension, Dadau gave away a long time ago. So desiring heaven. So again, see, so many things it's missing. Vishwajit is missing. So many things are missing. What is Vishwajit is missing? Everything is missing. Tasyaha, indeed he had Nachiketa Nama Putra Asa. Indeed he had a child, a son, by the name of Nachiketa. So let us look at the Bhashya. Tatra Akhyayika Vidyastutyartha. Yeah, Vidyastutyartha, Vidyastuti Artha, to praise the knowledge. Tatra means here, even though it says there, it means here. So why didn't he say atra? Why did he say tatra? Because of her and why? Because it happened he is honoring the fact that it happened a long time ago. So his astikya buddhi, Shankara's shraddha we see, because he doesn't say atra now. Tatra, then because ha, vai, asa, dadau, all past, perfect. Everything is in the remote past. Yeah, lit. And so therefore what? He is also saying tatra, in that context, not this context right now that we are here in, but in that context. His shraddha is in keeping with the text. So tatra, in that context, what is that? Akhyayika, the story in the above mentioned context, is for the sake of praising the knowledge. And I have already talked in detail why the knowledge should be praised even today. And I have also talked about, and you have now had 2 lectures on what? On the purpose, form and function of the stories in the Upanishad. One more point about the story is that it's always in the form of dialogue. How can you have a dialogue without a context? So the story comes in this whole kind of a thing to show that the teaching is in the form of a dialogue between the teacher and the taught. So, Vidya Stutyartha, we have done this. Stuti means praise. And then what he explains on, Ushan. Ushan he explains by Kamayamanaha, desiring. Mean the one who is desiring. Ushan just means desiring. He substitutes the word desiring by explains it by saying that it's not just desiring, it's actually referring to the desiring person. Yeah. So the one who is kamayamanaha, the one who has the desire, who is that? Vajashrava, we'll come to that. Ha vai iti Vrittartha smaranarthau Nipatau. Yeah, so Nipatau means indeclinables. Yeah. And what are the indeclinables? Ha and vai. Because you don't say ha, how, ha, ha. No, it doesn't decline like Rama. So ha and vai, they are indeclinable particles. And what is their purpose? Vrittartha smaranarthau. Vritta here means the account. Vrittartha smaranarthau. Vrittartha is the account, the way everything happened. Smaranarthau, to recall. Meaning to show that it happened a long time ago. Smaranarthau, the indeclinable particles have the status of recalling to mind what happened a long time ago. So the indeclinable particles are not just thrown in there as a seasoning, they bring out the taste and the flavor of the whole story by giving it, by painting it in sepia, giving it a vintage look, that it happened a long time ago. You see, each and everything counts. Like if you want to show in the digital age something antiquated and ancient, you make it sepia, correct? Yeah. So that's what it is. So here, ha and vai are the 2 colors that make everything sepia. It gives the flavor of making everything ancient and antiquated. And what's the purpose of something ancient and antiquated? Because everybody likes to listen something that happened a long time ago. This is one's desire for one's moorings. This is one desire to find out how the people in the past lived. And of course, their stories are not much different than our stories. So there is some kind of a, there's always a certain kind of a romanticization of the past. And the Upanishad is taking advantage of the person, the Shrota, the one who is doing the listening, of their romanticizing of the past to gain an entry into the buddhi and to sit there so that one will pay attention. So her and why are not just things thrown in, they are there deliberately, he says. So vrittartha smaranarthau nipatau, because there are two, it's in dual. Vajam, annam, taddanadi nimittam, shravah, yasho yasya, saha, vajashrava, rudhito va. Yeah. So then the next word, see, Ushan we have done. Havai we have done. What is the next word? Vaj. Read. No, read the text. Read the text. Read the text. Not the text of the Bhashya. Read the main text. What is the Vajashravasaha? Yeah, so that he is explaining. You see, first he explained Ushan as Kamayamanaha. Ha and why he explained as Vrityartha Smaranarthau Nipatau. Now he says Vajashravasaha, he is explaining, and the reason it is confusing is because before he put the things to be explained before and then started to explain here, the thing to be explained is at the end, because he is using economy of language. He is already deriving the word and the Vajashravasaha doesn't come before. So therefore, it's easy to miss that this is the word he is explaining. So he is explaining Vajashravaha by taking apart the word first. Vajam means annam, he says. Vajam, annam. Annam is food. Tad dana nimittam shrabaha yashaha yasya saha. So tad dana nimittam. So what is it? So this person is, Vaja means annam. Shrava means yashas. Shrava is fame, well known. Well known food. Vajashravasaha. So well known for what with the food? Eating the food? Cooking the food? No. Giving the food. See, that's why the whole thing starts with dana. Yeah. So he's become famous because he is giving the food, giving away the food in the right way with all the right characteristics and attitudes, and he is doing that with great reverence, and he has come to be known for that in his community. So Vajam Annam Tad Dana Nimittam. Nimittam is the cause. So the cause of his Shravas, the fame, Shravaha means heard, the one who is heard all over because of fame, because of the food, giving away of the food. So some who has acquired, Shravaha here means reputation. So one who has acquired a reputation for giving away of food. Like sometimes the restaurants also do that. You say, okay, on such and such a day, we will give away the food. And they did that when after the Indian elections. They said if such and such a candidate wins, we will give away free food for so many hours. And they did that in many restaurants. So those restaurants all became Vajashramas for that day for having kept their promise of giving anything that people wanted. They had a certain menu. You had to pick out of that only, and mostly sweets and snacks. So they gave that away. And so like this, so people would hear about this restaurant and flock to this restaurant. Of course there was a long line, this being India, or there was a semblance of a line. But here, this is much more than the restaurant giving away a few things because once in a, on a blue moon day, on the election result day. Here this man has built painstakingly his reputation by being a giver. And that is the heart that is needed for Vedanta, really. Even though his interest is not yet there. You see, even after being such a big giver, what is he still interested in? How to go to heaven? This is all he wants. You can see, even if one is, giving in the prescribed way, how long it takes to get the maturity. To get that Shraddha, to get that maturity, takes a long time. And so here, if that cognitive ability to, that Viveka is not there, Vairagya will help, but it has to be fueled also by Viveka. And so here, he has acquired a reputation. So tad dana nimittam means hetu, the cause. The cause, tad dana, is a typical way of expressing, tasya danam, tad danam, 6 TP, that's all. So tad dana nimittam, so this annasya dana nimittam yashaha, whose reputation is, the cause of whose reputation is the giving away of the food. Shravaha yasya vaja shravasaha. And then what? And he gives another meaning. Rudhito va. He says, or let's also know that maybe it's just a name given by his father and mother. It has nothing to do with how much food he has, tons of rice he has given away in Danam. It has nothing to do with that. Maybe it's just a name. Rudhito means part of the culture, the name is there. And that name he also got. Maybe the father and the mother hoped that the son would become a Vajashrava by growing into the name, Sometimes some names are very, what's the word for it? Inappropriate, Sometimes, people, because the parents don't know what the child is going to turn to. Some funny situations are there in India. And, so that is how the thing is. And this is where the, Rudhito va means maybe he got it because it is his name. Tasya apatyam vajashravasah kila vishvajita sarva medhena ije tatphalam kamayamanah. Yeah. So it's just a proper name, that's the second one. Tasya means his son. His son. Whose son? Vajashravasa's son. Vajashrava's son. And his son was very desirous also of the fruit of sacrifice for the father. Yeah. His son was also having the Shraddha. What? That his father should get everything that he prayed for, and his son, the one who had this desire, his son, and what did he do? He gave away sarva medhena. Medha here is not intellection or intelligent shakti. The word is not medha, it is medha. Yeah, medha means what to say, gifts, not really gifts, how to explain, things that are needed as put as offerings in a sacrifice, but doesn't always have to do with things you put in the fire, but all the adjacent things that are there, everything that constitutes of the sacrifice. And here Sarva Medhena, with all the capacities that were open to him, financially, resource wise, everything he put. Ije means he sacrificed, he prayed, he went along with it. Yeah. He went along, he put his everything into this sacrifice. Sarva Medhena Ije. So this, and Kila, indeed, Vishvajita, and Adi Shankara explains the name of the thing, and how did he put his all into the thing? Through doing this ritual called Vishvajit, which really demanded everything. And so after doing that, what happened? Tat phalam kamaya manaha. He wanted the result. And so that person's son is what is being talked about. Which person? The one who put his everything into the sacrifice. The one who had a son, indeed, who was desirous of the result. Okay? Yeah. Understood? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Saha tasmin kratau
कृतौ
सर्ववेदसं
सर्ववेदसं
सर्वस्वं धनं
सर्वस्वं धनं
ददौ दत्तवान्.
ददौ दत्तवान्.
Yeah. So, Saha, who is Saha? He, the same person. We are not talking of someone else. We are talking of this person, this Vajashrava. In the ritual, Tasmin Kratau, in that ritual, Sarva Vedasam, all his wealth, Sarvasvam Dhanam, everything he owned, because cattle was wealth in those times, you know. Yeah. Dadau means gave a long time ago. Dattavan. Nothing much to explain. Tasya
तस्य
Yajamanasya
यजमानस्य
Ha
ह
Nachiketa Nama
नचिकेता नाम
Putra Kila Asa
पुत्र किल आस
Babhuva.
बभूव.
Yeah. Vajashrava. Here this is okay. Vajashrava, Vajashravasah. Oh, he's giving another meaning. Tasya Patyam means this Vajashrava was the son of a person who gave a lot away. Perhaps we Rudito Va. Rudito means how did he get the name? Because he belonged to the clan. Yeah, because I thought he was talking of Tasya Putra. Yeah, but the Putra comes later. So here he belonged to the clan where the food was given away in alarming amounts, and so therefore gained the reputation because of it being a family trait. So belonging to that, apatyam means belonging to a scion of that lineage, a scion of that Vajashravasaha. Indeed, Vishvajita, in the Vishvajit Yajna, Sarvamedhena, with all full force, he went forward to gain the result of his desire. And in that ritual, Tasmin Kratau, Kratu means ritual, Sarva Vedasam, all his wealth, his own wealth, not the neighbor's wealth, Dhanam, all his resources, Dadau Dattavan, Tasya Yajamanasya, this person who was Yajamana means the one who was doing the ritual, is from Yajati, Yajate, so the one who is doing the ritual, Yajamana, and Tasyaha, indeed, there was a child a long time ago, Nachiketa Nama Kila Asa. Asa means Babhuva, means a long time ago, this child was there. Okay, next mantra. Tagam Hakumaragam Santam
तगुकुमारं सन्तं
Dakshinasu
दक्षिणासु
Niyamanasu
नीयमानासु
Shraddha Vivesha
श्रद्धा विवेश
Saha
सः
Amanyat.
मन्यते
Amanyat. Yeah, not Manyat. Yeah. Yeah, that's the past tense. Amanyat. Yeah. So, now this is the next mantra. And what is happening? See, so much was covered in the first one, correct? Yeah. So, Dakshinasu Niyamanasu. Dakshina is present, gift. Niyamanasu, as the presents are being led out of the hall. Yeah. What happened? He was overwhelmed by Shraddha. Shraddhaya avivesha. Yeah. So Shraddhaya avivesha. So the gifts were being carried out. And as the gifts were being carried out, what happened? He was overwhelmed, overcome by Shraddha. And who was overcome by Shraddha? Tamha Kumaram Santam. That child who was what? Still a child. That boy who was still a child. Kumaram Santam means a very small boy. Tam, in that boy, who Kumaram Santam, that which was a small boy, Dakshinasu Niyamanasu, as the gifts were being collected by the various recipients and being led out of the hall, if they were in walking stage, if they were sentient, and otherwise carried out of the hall. So as he saw the gifts being led out, he was overcome by Shraddha, meaning he really was enjoying this ritual, at least the parts that he had participated in, and he thought, well, this is a very good ritual, and I'm seeing all these gifts being carried out. And then and his thought basis, what he thought we'll learn in the next mantra, he says, but first, before he thought, about him being a better gift than what was being carried out, first he thinks, look at this wonderful ritual, and I definitely want my father to gain the results of this ritual, and he had heard that the results of this ritual are heaven, etc. And I really want my father to gain this heaven. So overcome by this Shraddha, Saha, he, Amanyat, had a thought. What was that thought? We'll think about it tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.